pull out with a truck full of ass.
What's good, homie fam? It's your boy Zell back with another vid. In this vid right here, we're gonna be checking out 15 most brutal fouls in football. Yeah, so we're gonna be doing some football vids. I'm an American, so for me it's soccer. We call it soccer down here because you know we got the NFL. We call that football, but I'm looking to get into some new kind of content. So we're gonna check out football. This gonna introduce me to some of the stuff that go on in here. Now I know a bit about soccer. I don't know a whole lot. I play a lot of FIFA games. That's about as much as I know. I don't know all the rules or any of that. I don't know all that. But I do know some of the top players, and like from the highlights that I have seen, I know a bit of the highlights. So I seen like I mess with Ronaldinho for instance. I know him. I seen him a lot. I like Ronaldo. I like Messi. David Beckham, nice. David Beckham, nice. I seen like highlights of them. But without further ado, we gonna get into it. Let's check this out.
Here are the 15 most brutal fouls in the history of football.
They haven't cleared it. Oh,
That is a booking.
Number 15. At number 15, the foul was committed by a player normally known for being a good guy. It was in the final match of the group stage of the 2018 UEFA Champions League. Bayern Munich versus Ajax Amsterdam. Both teams were giving their all, and they each scored a goal. However, in the 75th minute, chaos erupted on the Ajax bench.
Hey.
Mueller attempted to reach a long pass with a high kick and didn't see the Ajax player who wanted to head the ball. The Bayern player directly hit Tagliafico in the forehead with his boot studs, causing a laceration. Tagliafico had to receive medical treatment on the field, but luckily was able to continue and finish the match. Mueller, on the other hand, was shown a red card and had to take an early shower. The foul was quite violent but unintentional.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional. That right there wasn't intentional.
However, our top 3 fouls, without a doubt, are brutal. Number 14. In the 1990 World Cup held in Italy, Cameroon surprised everyone by beating the defending champions Argentina 1-0 in the opening match. But there was a scene from that game that the football world will never forget. Just before the end of the match, there was one last counterattack by Claudio Caniggia. During that tackle, even his shoe flew off. Passing was directly sent off, and this foul was considered one of the worst in World Cup history. Indeed, football is pure emotion, and in some cases, tempers flare up quickly. Number 13. Our next foul is committed by a player known mainly for his aggressive...
He'd kicked that thing wrong and he messed his leg up. He'd have been wrong. He'd have been real sick. He'd have fucked his leg up. He'd have been hurt up about that.
Defending an unsportsmanlike conduct. In the quarterfinals of the Spanish Copa del Rey, Barcelona, with superstar Messi, played against their arch-rivals Real Madrid. Messi's run towards the goal, as usual, could only be stopped by a foul.
Yeah, I saw this.
And while Messi was on the ground, Pepe did this. He stepped on his hand. Messi screamed in pain, and Barcelona went mad, rightfully so. The referee didn't see it, and there was no video-assisted referee at that time, so Pepe didn't receive a foul. Messi, on the other hand, was able to continue playing and scored the winning goal against Real. After the match, Pepe apologized, claiming it was unintentional.
No,
sorry, Pepe, but it looked anything but accidental. No.
I don't know, bro. I don't know how he did that. I probably would have flipped. I'd have wanted some get back. I probably would have.
Number 12. The next foul didn't even result in a yellow.
I probably kicked him all in his ass.
Or red card, although this tackle nearly killed the other player. In 1988, Rangers were playing against Steaua Bucharest. The Scottish team was known for their rough style of play, but Grame Souness went a bit far.
Damn.
That is a booking.
Reckless and dangerous, 40 years ago, the studs on the boots were made of iron, not plastic. The player who suffered the foul had to undergo surgery, and in the hospital he discovered how serious the situation was. One of his lymph nodes had burst, which could have endangered his life. Fortunately, everything turned out well, and Graham didn't even receive a card for his ugly foul. Number 11. But let's stay in England. The Premier League is known to be a bit more physical, and John Terry was known to be one of the toughest defenders. However, this tackle knocked him out cold. It was the final phase of a League Cup match between Chelsea and Arsenal, and the score was tied at 1-1.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't y'all got plays like where you just immediately get the red card, right? It's considered like you could do something so bad you immediately get the red card. Like I know, like in the NFL, right? They got something called targeting. So like if you hit a defenseless player, like before he even get to see you hit him or you strike his head or something, you'll get ejected out the game, bruh. Like that's immediate expulsion from the game. And you get a big ass fine. You'll get a fine cut out your check. Some dudes have gotten like $100,000 taken from them, 50, stuff like that. So y'all let me know if y'all get that in there. I think y'all do though, because I remember playing the game and I've seen that happen to me a couple times.
Chelsea earned a corner, and Terry wanted to show off his heading skills.
I think they do. I don't remember.
Abu Dhabi wanted to kick the ball away from the goal, and Terry attempted a header at the same time.
Damn.
It was not a good combination. Terry swallowed his tongue, stopped breathing for a short period, and had to be treated on the field. Fortunately, he recovered, but had no memory of the incident. At least Didier Drogba scored the winning goal, making Chelsea the winner of the match. Number 10.
The Muay Thai fight when he swept Cuz' leg from under him, then he hit him with the knee.
The foul in the next match also occurred during an important encounter and almost sparked a brawl between the two teams. We're back in Spain in the 2011 Spanish Super Cup match between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Remember Pepe? Barcelona was leading 3-2, and it was already the last minutes of extra time when Marcelo had no chance of recovering the ball and brutally lunged at Fabregas from behind. Pure frustration. A straight red card. In the ensuing scuffle, Moreno pinched the ear of the Barca coach. Piqué and Ozil pushed each other, and yes, there was a lot of confusion. Pinto, David Villa, Marcelo, and Ozil all received red cards and had to watch the final seconds from outside the field. Number 9. Axel Witsel was an important player for Dortmund in recent years, but when he was making a name for himself in 2009, he was involved in one of the worst fouls, and some even called for his ban from professional football. At the time, the young Witsel played for the Standard Liège. He was part of Belgium's golden generation, and top clubs from around the world had their eyes on him, but then during a match against Anderlecht, this happened. Witsel broke the opponent's leg, received a red card, and was suspended for 8 matches. He continued to claim it was all
like one of them skateboarders when they be breaking their leg real bad.
Unintentional, but with the next incident, the perpetrator of the foul won't be able to escape. Simply brutal. Number 8. It's the final of the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. The Netherlands, with Arjen Robben, faced the Spanish tiki-taka of Iniesta and Xavi. It's the 28th minute and the score is 0-0 when Nigel de Jong turns into a kung fu fighter against Xabi Alonso.
Come on now.
It's understandable that these Spanish players were furious with the referee because
he not going for the ball right there, bro. This man just did a flying dragon kick, a Bruce Lee flying dragon kick on this man.
Because the Englishman, Howard Webb, only showed a yellow card.
What?
It's hard to believe when you see those images. Fortunately, Alonso could continue playing, and since Robben failed to score, Spain ultimately won the World Cup. But this foul in the Bundesliga didn't have a pleasant aftermath. Number 7. The injured player even sued the other player and the opposing team's coach.
Man's literally did a super move on this guy. Literally.
In 1981, Bielefeld played against Werder Bremen. Ewald Lienen tried to dribble past Siegmann. The Iron Studs cut Lienen's thigh, and I can't show you the leg photos, otherwise YouTube would block the video. The player recovered from the injury after 4 weeks, but sued Siegmann and Otto Regal, the coach of Werder Bremen at the time. According to Lienen's accusation, the player had encouraged his teammates to commit the foul. The lawsuit failed, but the incident didn't go unnoticed. In the return match, the coach even sat on the bench wearing a bulletproof vest. There were death threats against him. Number 6. Martin Taylor also received a death threat after his foul on Eduardo. We're back in the Premier League, Birmingham City against Arsenal. Martin Taylor's incredibly brutal foul against Eduardo of Arsenal resulted in a broken tibia and fibula. The incident was so shocking that even on TV, replays weren't shown. Taylor was suspended for 3 matches. Eduardo returned to the field after a long injury hiatus, but was never the same. Number 5. Our number 5 occurred 2 years later, again in a Premier League match. Stoke City's Ryan Shawcross entered the duel, made the first contact, and broke Aaron Ramsey's leg. Shawcross received a red card and was suspended for 3 matches. Arsenal manager in a Premier League match. Stoke City's Ryan Shawcross entered the duel, made the first contact, and broke Aaron Ramsey's leg. Shawcross received a red card and was suspended for 3 matches. Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger and the rest of the team were furious. 19-year-old Ramsey was making a name for himself in the football world, and many feared his career was already over. Fortunately, he recovered from the terrible injury and continued to play.
That's good.
Now let's move on to a foul that gave the player a nickname. The Butcher of Bilbao, number 4. In the 1980s, Athletic Bilbao and Barcelona had the biggest rivalry in Spain. Bilbao became champions in 1983, Barcelona won the cup, and in their 4th round of the new season, the two teams were set to face each other. The skillful Catalans against the tough Basques. 2 different football worlds. The score was already 2-0 for Barca when Maradona received the ball in midfield. Goicoechea brutally lunged from behind and broke the 25-year-old Maradona's ankles. Maradona had to stay out of the game for several months, and Goicoechea received an 18-match suspension.
Hold on. So he broke both my man's ankles.
We've reached the top 3, and we're back in the Premier League.
Sure.
Number 3. In 2006, Manchester City.
The next year, I be one of
He played against Portsmouth. After a corner kick, Portsmouth player Mendes rushed to clear the ball.
No.
Ben Thatcher hit him in the face with a...
Bro, this not the NFL, bro. This man, he literally just hit
an elbow for no reason. Mendes lost consciousness and had to be treated on the field and then taken to the hospital. The absurd thing is that Thatcher only received a yellow card. What does one have to do to get a red card in England?
And it's like later he elbowed him. Time out, did he elbow him too?
Player Mendes rushed to clear the ball.
No.
Ben Thatcher hit him in the face with an elbow for no reason. Mendes lost consciousness and had to be treated on the field and then taken to the hospital. The absurd thing is that Thatcher only received a yellow card. What does one have to do to get a red card in England? Later, he was suspended by the Football Association for 8 matches and fined by his own.
Until I get my lick back, it's on site. We probably gonna have to
club being docked 6 weeks' wages as a punishment.
Hey,
it's not fair to hit others when you're angry, but it's perfectly fine to hit the subscribe button with force. Now, let's move on to a classic moment in football. Number 2, France versus Germany. In 1982, the two teams met in the World Cup semifinals, and the encounter was ruthless. Suddenly, a good opportunity for France. Goalkeeper Schumacher lunged at Battiston and knocked him out with a powerful blow. The player lost their focus. Suddenly, a good opportunity for France. Goalkeeper Schumacher lunged at Battiston and knocked him out with a powerful blow. The player lost several teeth and suffered a spinal injury.
Wow.
One of the worst fouls ever. Schumacher had no chance of touching the ball, and it seemed like he just wanted to knock out the French player. But here's the absurd part. He didn't receive any card, not even a yellow one. Germany
was he in their home?
Won the semifinal, but then lost to Italy in the final.
Why they ain't called no
Our number 1, perhaps the most brutal foul ever, happened in England.
And did he say
Are we really surprised? Powerful blow. The player lost several teeth and suffered a spinal injury. One of the worst fouls ever. Schumacher had no chance of touching the ball, and it seemed like he just wanted to knock out the French player.
So he gave this man a Mortal Kombat X-ray, and he ain't get no card thrown on him?
But here's the absurd part. He didn't receive any card, not even a yellow one. Germany won the semifinal, but then lost to Italy in the final. Our number 1, perhaps the most brutal foul ever, happened in England. Are we really surprised? Number 1, September 1997. Manchester United was playing against Leeds. Roy Keane and Alf Inge Haaland, or rather Erling Haaland's father, clashed several times during the match. 5 minutes before the end, Keane wanted to trip Haaland, but in the process he injured himself. Haaland leaned over him and shouted to stop faking an injury, but Keane wasn't faking. He'd torn his cruciate ligament and had to be out injured for a long time. 3.5 years later, the two faced each other again. Haaland was playing for Manchester City, the eternal rival of Manchester United. Keane wanted only one thing, to have revenge on Haaland.
Ah, so it is a player thinking like,
He received a red card and a 3-match
hold on.
suspension, plus a fine of 5,000 pounds. A year and a half later, he wrote in his autobiography that he wanted to hurt Holland with that foul,
I
and the
saw
English
that.
League handed
I
him
saw that before, bro. I saw this when I was like 13 years old, bro. I was looking at a injury video, a sports injury video on YouTube. This was a long time ago, bro. I was watching this before. Yeah, I saw this. I saw that injury. This would be up there. They was like showing injuries from all the sports, like the NFL, American football, and soccer, and it was showing gymnastics, all types of stuff. That was on there.
another
Hey,
5-match
he
suspension
tore
and
his
a fine of
meniscus.
150,000 pounds. But wait,
Wow,
did you know that
wow. Did they find the other
due to a
dude for
brutal
tearing
foul,
up his
Ronaldo
ligament?
died on the field for a minute? Watch the video here.
Well, that'll be it for this vid, man. If y'all enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, cause y'all know I'm gonna be back with more. But I think the more worse injury, that wasn't worse than the second one. In my honest opinion, that wasn't worse than the second one. He knocked his teeth out and gave him a spinal injury. That was not worse than the second one. How was that number one over this? That in my honest opinion was not worse than it was not worse than that. The number two. To me, the number two should have been number one, and number one should have been number two. Y'all let me know if y'all agree with me. Which one y'all thought was the worst? And comment down below if y'all want me to see some other stuff. I definitely put it up there when I get the chance to, or when I look at it, you know. I get the chance to look at some stuff because I do a lot of other things outside the YouTube also. But I'll catch y'all boys later. Peace.